The Philadelphia Eagles are making moves, and not just on the field. Let's dive into everything that's been going on behind the scenes, starting with a few notable roster changes. The Birds have added some depth to their practice squad, signing defensive tackle Jacob Sykes and defensive end KJ Henry. These aren't blockbuster additions, but they're clearly part of a larger puzzle that Howie Roseman continues to shift around like a chessboard. As always, every move has a ripple effect, and the corresponding decisions saw the Eagles parting ways, once again, with cornerback Eli Ricks. If you've been following Rick's journey, you know it's been a bit of a roller coaster. On the practice squad, then off, then back on, and now he's off again. This most recent shuffle happened as the Eagles were gearing up for the Buccaneers, with the cornerback room depleted due to injuries to Adoree Jackson and Jacorian Bennett. Keely Ringo stepped up in a big way, and players like Perry Nickerson and McWilliams helped carry the load on special teams, which ultimately made Ricks the odd man out. And the roster shakeups didn't stop there. Philadelphia also released outside linebacker Antoine Powell Ryland. Drafted just a few months ago in the 6th round, this kid had real potential. A guy I liked in college, especially during his time at Florida and Virginia Tech. During the pre-draft process, he stood out as one of the more productive edge rushers in college football. He lived in the backfield, disrupting plays with his speed and motor. Over the past few seasons, Powell Ryland racked up some impressive stats. More than 40% of his tackles happened behind the line of scrimmage. That's a wild number. And it wasn't just about tackles for loss. He forced 9 fumbles across 3 seasons and had a pass rush plan that showed real polish for a college guy. Whether it was bull rush, dip and rip, or stunts, he had a bag of tricks. The production was there, with sack totals climbing each year, culminating in a monster season in 2024. So what held him back? The same concerns that surfaced in scouting reports before the draft. He lacks that elite burst, doesn't have ideal length for the position, and isn't as twitchy as you'd want in a prototypical edge rusher. In camp and preseason, that showed. He flashed in the final preseason game with a strip sack, huge moment, and maybe enough to sneak onto the 53-man roster. But in the end, it wasn't. He cleared waivers, landed back on the practice squad briefly, and now finds himself a free agent once again. Tough break, but there's still time for him to land somewhere else and carve out a role. Whether it's development on a new practice squad or trying to catch fire during workouts, he's got the raw foundation to build on. Let's switch gears and talk about one of the Eagles' most important offensive weapons, Dallas Goedert. There's a lot going on with him right now, especially on the injury front. He missed practice on Wednesday due to a knee issue. And look, anytime you hear knee and Goedert in the same sentence, the red flags go up. That knee has already kept him out of big games this season, including the showdown against the Chiefs at Arrowhead. Now, he did return to the practice field on Thursday, which is a great sign. He moved pretty well, and considering the physicality of his position, mobility is everything. There was a moment against the Bucs where he went down awkwardly after being undercut. He immediately headed to the sideline, visibly shaken, and looked like he might have aggravated the same knee that's been bothering him. So the question becomes, do you play him this weekend against the Broncos, or do you sit him and let him rest for the short week ahead when the Eagles take on the Giants Thursday night on that infamously awful MetLife Stadium turf? This is where things get interesting. Statistically, Denver has one of the best defenses in the league this year. Top 5 in almost every major category. Their front 7, especially the defensive line, is absolutely elite, leading the league in sacks and pressure rate. Their secondary is no joke either, with Patrick Surtain locking down one side, Riley Moss showing flashes, and Talanoa Hufanga flying around as a disruptive safety. But the weak spot? The linebackers. Denver has really struggled in that second level, especially with Dre Greenlaw out. Their coverage ability is suspect, and this is where Goedert thrives, eating up that soft middle of the field and exposing linebackers who can't keep up. If he's active, Goedert could be a game breaker, and he's been trending up over the past few weeks. After a slow start, he's put together a strong stretch with 3 touchdowns in his last 2 games. We saw that seam route against the Rams, and then the creativity against Tampa Bay, where he caught one on that little underhand pitch play and another on a beautifully designed shovel pass that looks straight out of Andy Reid's playbook. When he's on the field, he adds a whole different dimension to this offense. Not just as a receiver, but as a guy who gets yards after contact and opens things up for everyone else. And it's a big but, the injuries are becoming a pattern. Since being drafted to replace Zach Ertz, Goedert's missed 23 games over the course of his career. That's more than a full season. Rookie year, 0 games missed. After that, it was 1 game, then 5-2, another 5-3, and now already 7 games missed this year. That's a lot. And that availability issue is probably the #1 reason the Eagles have been hesitant to give him a long-term contract extension. Age is creeping in too. He's on the wrong side of 30 now. And while the Eagles have held up reasonably well without him, going 16-8 when he's out, there's a visible difference in how this offense operates when he's not there. Especially now, with the backup tight ends offering little in terms of blocking or physical presence. His absence is felt far beyond just the box score. Now, while we're on the topic of drama and key players, let's get into the situation surrounding A.J. Brown. The Eagles are undefeated at 4-0, but it hasn't come without noise, particularly from Brown, who continues to stir the pot with his social media activity. After Sunday's win, instead of soaking in the victory, he dropped a cryptic tweet that left everyone guessing. Something along the lines of, "If you're not welcomed, not listened to, quietly withdraw. Don't make a scene." Sounds like a Bible verse, but in the context of NFL drama, it read like a passive-aggressive shot. So naturally, the speculation started immediately. Was it about the coaching staff? The quarterback? The front office? To Brown's credit, he addressed it quickly. He owned up to the fact that he let his emotions get the better of him and admitted he shouldn't have skipped out on talking to the media post-game. He made it clear the tweet wasn't aimed at anyone in the building and emphasized his open communication with the coaches and with Jalen Hurts. And look, you've got to appreciate a player taking responsibility like that. He acknowledged that he's a competitor and he wants the ball in critical situations. Totally fair. Every great receiver wants the rock. But man, this isn't the first time we've seen this movie. Now, ESPN's Jeremy Fowler dropped a little bombshell of his own, reporting that some league insiders believe the Eagles could entertain trading Brown after the 2025 season. Not this year, but possibly down the line. Financially, it would be tough. Brown carries a massive cap hit, but there are ways to soften that blow, especially with a post-June 1st trade designation. And Howie Roseman is a cap wizard. So yeah, if things really went south, it's possible. Still, from a football standpoint, why would you move on from a guy who's been this productive? Since joining the team in 2022, the Eagles are 41-10 with him. He's been named to the All-Pro team every year, gone over 1,000 yards in each season, and helped lead the team to 2 Super Bowl appearances. That's elite company. Now let's zoom out a bit and think about the broader picture with A.J. Brown. When a player of his caliber speaks, or even just tweets, the ripple effect can shake an entire building. He's not just another guy on the roster. He's a centerpiece. He's one of the faces of this franchise. So when he drops vague, emotional messages on social media, it's going to raise eyebrows. And while fans might be quick to jump to conclusions, you better believe the front office, the coaches, and even teammates start asking themselves, is this going to be a problem down the road? This is not about one tweet. It's about a pattern that's formed since he arrived in Philadelphia. Every season, it feels like there's at least one moment where Brown gets frustrated, goes public with it, and the team has to go into damage control mode. That wears people down over time. Yes, he performs on Sundays, but in between those games, it can feel like a PR scramble. And even if he says it's not directed at anyone in the building, the timing, the tone, and the platform all tell a different story. This is a team that thrives on chemistry. The locker room culture under Nick Sirianni has been one of the main ingredients in their success. And Brown is part of that. He's loved by many of his teammates, especially Jalen Hurts. But the question becomes, how long can that bond withstand these repeated disruptions? Hurts is as composed and even-tempered as they come. But he's also a guy who demands focus. He doesn't like distractions. And right now, the Eagles are trying to find that extra gear offensively. They've had moments of brilliance, but they're still chasing that complete performance. So when your number one receiver is venting on social media, even if it's not meant to cause a stir, it does exactly that. The other factor in all of this is the future of the receiving core. You've got Devonta Smith, who's as steady and low maintenance as they come. He just shows up, does his job, and keeps it moving. And if the Eagles start weighing what they want long-term, that contrast might come into play. Do they want to keep riding the A.J. Brown roller coaster, or do they eventually pivot toward building around a quieter star who doesn't stir the pot? There's also the financial aspect. Brown's contract is massive, and while he's earned it with his production, it puts pressure on the team to make everything work perfectly around him. And in the NFL, things are rarely perfect. That's why the whispers of a potential trade, even if far off in the future, are worth paying attention to. The Eagles aren't in any rush to make that kind of move, but nothing is off the table when it comes to Howie Roseman. He's ruthless when it comes to doing what he thinks is best for the organization. If he senses that Brown is becoming more of a distraction than a benefit, he won't hesitate to explore options. And again, this isn't about taking sides or framing Brown as a villain. It's about weighing everything: production, chemistry, long-term stability, and figuring out what gives the Eagles the best chance to stay competitive at the highest level. And make no mistake, Brown has been lights out since arriving. His numbers are among the best in the league. He commands double teams. He breaks tackles. He scores in the red zone. He opens things up for everyone else. There's a reason why defenses have to game plan specifically for him every single week. But we've seen time and time again in this league that talent doesn't always buy you unlimited time, especially when the off-field stuff becomes a headline more often than the stat line. And the truth is, the Eagles have shown they can win without him. They've proven it before. Of course, they're better with him on the field, but if things ever start to boil over and the relationship cracks, it wouldn't be unprecedented for this front office to cut bait early rather than late. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest updates on our Philadelphia Eagles. And don't be shy. Share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the league, whispers are growing louder that Nick Westbrook-Ikhine has officially broken ties with his former team and is now set to join the Philadelphia Eagles. Sources close to the player suggest that negotiations have been quietly underway for weeks, but the timing of the announcement has fans and analysts alike scrambling to piece together exactly what led to this sudden switch. Westbrook-Ikhine, known for his speed and ability to make crucial catches in high-pressure moments, has long been a standout on his previous roster. Yet, rumors of internal disagreements and strategic differences reportedly played a role in his departure. Insiders hint at a growing frustration on both sides, one that may have reached a tipping point during the latter part of the season. While the official statements remain formal and measured, the undercurrent among players and coaches tells a story of a star athlete eager for a new challenge and a team looking to leverage his talents in a fresh environment. Philadelphia, always hungry to strengthen their receiving core, is reportedly thrilled at the prospect of adding Westbrook-Ikhine to their lineup. While nothing has been signed publicly, murmurs from the league indicate that the Eagles see him as a perfect fit for their offensive scheme, one that values speed, versatility, and the ability to stretch defenses. Fans on social media are already buzzing with speculation, imagining how he might mesh with the current roster and what this could mean for the team's playoff ambitions. Critics, of course, are raising eyebrows. Some question whether this move is purely tactical or if it signals a deeper shift in player movement trends this season. Could other stars be quietly weighing their options, inspired by Westbrook-Ikhine's bold step? Only time will tell. What is clear, however, is that this rumored transfer has ignited a frenzy of conversation across locker rooms and sports bars alike. The league is abuzz, and every analyst is trying to predict the ripple effects. One thing seems certain: wherever Nick Westbrook-Ikhine lands officially, the Eagles' offense is about to get a lot more electrifying, and the rumor mill is only going to grow louder in the coming days. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Philadelphia Eagles, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.